Good afternoon, I'm Raylene Ramsey. This is your afternoon news fix for Thursday, the 21st of March. The Prime Minister says he empathises with people and families affected by job cuts. The Ministries for Primary Industries and Health are both proposing slashing hundreds of roles to cut costs. Chris Luxon says many roles were already vacant and ministries are doing their best to redeploy people within the organisation. But he says this is the reality of getting government spending under control.
We actually have to do everything we can to make sure it's as efficiently and effectively spent as possible so that we can actually free up that money and get it to better frontline services for people.
MPI is proposing losing 384 jobs. Many are already vacant. And the Ministry of Health says more than a quarter of positions will be affected by its cuts. The Greens are slamming a failure of transparency from New Zealand's spy agency. The Inspector General of Intelligence and Security has found a foreign agency ran a spy operation hosted by the GCSB for 7 years. The Watchdog's report reveals the Bureau allowed the system without ministerial approval or informing government ministers. Greens co-leader Chloe Swarbrick says it means we were without democratic oversight.
That remains deeply concerning, and I hope that our political institution holds the GCSB to account on that.
Keep slowing as you drive past schools. The government's throwing out Labour's blanket speed restrictions in a proposal aiming to reduce travel times. Transport Minister Simeon Brown says Cabinet plans to make the changes by the end of the year. But he says lower speeds will stay where needed.
We will require variable speed limits to be implemented outside schools during school drop-off times and pick-up times, keeping young New Zealanders safe as they arrive and leave school.
Economic impacts will also be considered in future speed limit decisions. New Zealand's economy contracted in last year's final quarter, as widely expected, putting us into a technical recession. Stats NZ data shows GDP dropped 0.1 percentage point in the last quarter of last year, on top of the September quarter fall of 0.3. CTU economist Craig Rennie says GDP per capita data says it's part of the decline across the past 5 quarters.
Also, GDP income data suggested that incomes were falling across the country, and that should be of real concern.
Offerings from our 4 big banks are so similar, people are unlikely to switch banks. A draft report from the Commerce Commission, has found a 2-tier system divides smaller banks from ANZ, ASB, BNZ and Westpac, and there's no strong competition. It recommends the government improve capital for Kiwibank and smaller banks. Consumer NZ CEO John Duffy says people deserve markets where businesses compete hard.
And can't just sit on large customer bases, earn excessive profits and offer up pretty lacklustre service.
To sport, and the Crusaders have played a straight bat after the bombshell revelation. Their former captain Sam Whitelock has been asked to return to the All Blacks by new coach Scott Robertson, saying as far as they know, he's on a 2-year deal at French club Pau. Athletics New Zealand are disappointed with comments made by retiring sprinter Joseph Miller, who felt he didn't get the support he needed during his career. The Wellington Phoenix men will be without defenders Tim Payne and Isaac Hughes for the next 2 A-League games due to injury. I'm Raylene Ramsey. That is your latest news fix. We'll be back with the next update tomorrow morning from the Newstalk ZB newsroom.